Light have a ranked and unranked mode. I recently did a poll on this and the majority of you voted yes. However,
I'm going to say initially, I know the video just started, I'm going to say this initially. If you have played any other game that has an unranked mode, everybody sweats in the unranked mode anyway. This is, I hope he can change my mind. Or maybe he's just going to agree with me. But everybody sweats in unranked. Everybody sweats in unranked. Casuals are always full of sweats. It is. Like in any game. Trust me. I played Street Fighter competitively for a little bit there. Whenever I wanted to vibe out, when I wasn't tryharding, I would go into casuals to vibe, and there were just people who just couldn't hack it in ranked, just hanging out in casuals, trying to, like, you know, pub stomp people because they couldn't make it. And it's just like, that's just how games are. Like ranked and unranked is literally just like, it's like those little toilet paper seats that you know, little paper ones that you pull down when you go to like a public restroom. Those don't actually do a whole lot to protect you. They're just there to make you feel better. That's like what ranked and unranked is. It's kind of just there to make you feel better. People are going to sweat in both, so that's not the solution.
The interesting thing is that based on the comments of the poll, whether voting yes or no, the motive for the vote was largely the same, which is that most players want less sweaty matches.
Which is not going to happen.
Some believe having a ranked and unranked mode will help filter the more sweaty players into the ranked matches, whereas those of you who voted no are afraid that adding a ranked mode to the game would lead to even more sweaty game balancing, plus sweaty players invading and taking advantage of the more casual playlist.
Yep.
Add to that, Behavior's recent updates trimming more casual and fun aspects out of the game in favor of better balancing. Maybe it's time to take a serious look at this idea. And before we go any further, Behavior adding a ranked and unranked mode to the game is a very real possibility, because they have already asked multiple questions specifically about it in their community questionnaires. So at the very least, we know it is something they're considering to try to mitigate the negative aspects of SBMM being added to the game. The biggest of
everybody hated that. Nobody wanted that. So instead of just like getting rid of that, we're gonna possibly make a whole other like separate game mode just to accommodate for this thing that nobody wanted in the first place. Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted skill-based matchmaking. Nobody wanted that. Why would we add an extra game mode to fix a thing that we didn't even want in the first? Okay, it's fine.
Which is the psychological aspect of making players think they need to bring the best loadouts every time just to have a good match, leading to a lot of stressful matches and hard-locked metas. So in this video, we're going to discuss a few aspects of this ranked and unranked idea, the best way to implement it if it was added into the game, what the overall effect would be if it was implemented, and other alternative directions Behavior could go instead of adding it to the game. Let's start with the best way to implement it if Behavior is determined to make this a reality. For starters, there would need to be a distinct reason to queue into either playlist. Ranked would need to be the definitive competitive DBD experience, whereas unranked would need to be more casual or open like current DBD.
Yeah, with ranked, you would, if you were gonna do that, you would have to have like rank titles and a progression system and be able to like see what your MMR is. That's what you would have to have if that's what you're gonna do. You would have to have. You would have to have titles, prestige, not like, you know, the prestige we know, but like actual, like the word, the definition prestige to like ranking up. So that'd be titles, like rewards of some sort, and have your MMR be visible so you could like flaunt it and taunt it. So, yeah.
Now, to be clear, there should be no exclusive rewards to playing either playlist. DBD should be the game you want to play on any given day. One day you might feel competitive, and the next day you might prefer a more chill experience. So rewards should stay general, and you should never feel pressured to play in a way you don't enjoy. The only exclusive reward of a ranked playlist should be the player's rank, a real determination of a player's skill moving up ranked brackets in a competitive environment, and then I suppose bragging rights if you're feeling extra cringe. Now, there is no way Behavior can keep two completely different versions of DBD updated, balanced, etc. So
this isn't even talking about the player count, which you'll probably talk about. This isn't even talking about the player count. DBD already gets to the point like when I'm playing like early in the morning, like after a stream, that I end up running into like the same 3 killers like back to back to back to back. Like this is already a thing that if I'm playing, like I end up running to the same people all the time because there's really just like not enough people playing at certain points. So splitting the player base even more would be like, ooh.
The difference between the modes would need to be as effective as possible while remaining practical. Introducing completely different powers and things like that are not realistic. The first thing that they would need to do is introduce a static map pool for the ranked playlist. Find something like the 10 most balanced maps in the game, keep a static layout of those maps to reduce RNG, and adjust them from time to time. Offerings would also have to be removed for obvious reasons. They give the player way too much pre-game advantage, whereas in a more casual playlist, they still offer variety and unique builds. For instance, getting rid of map offerings completely kills off jump scare Myers. So this is where simple differences can enhance the ranked playlist while protecting the casual playlist from the boredom of competitive balancing.
Yeah, and also Bran too. Like it's only been as big as it even like that even lower player base that DBD does have. It only really got that in like the last like year and a half through all like the Resident Evil chapters. That's where a lot of their like the recent population has come from, is from the popularity of the Resident Evil chapters. So yeah, that's been a very, very recent thing, even with that like smaller amount.
Ideally, by doing this, loop design will eventually get to a place where bloodlust can be removed altogether as well. Moving on, the ranked playlist would need limited items and add-ons. Removing items and add-ons altogether is a bridge too far in my opinion. However, ultra rares and rares should be banned in a competitive playlist. It is a bit awkward because add-ons are very inconsistent. Some killers rely on round add-ons and some rely on more rare add-ons, but in general this would be the more realistic approach until add-ons were better balanced. Another common theme in competitive settings are perk regulation. There are 2 sides to perk regulation. The first is a straight ban of perks that are considered too OP. I disagree with this. No perk should be banned. If a ranked playlist is showing that certain perks are extremely oppressive, that's...
Yeah, and I agree with what you said, Bran, too. And this is kind of a side tangent, but like this, I got asked about this the other day. It was like, oh my god, Steve is rating me. Yo, Steve, thank you so much for the raid, Fred. What's up? How was your stream? Yeah.
Got adjusted rather than restrict gameplay and adding a bunch of new problems. Getting actual good data on perk performance would hopefully allow the devs to make better balancing choices.
That's debatable.
The
I hate you.
Part of perk regulation
You're okay, man. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that.
Meaning survivors aren't allowed to run the same perks as each other, or sometimes they are limited to how many times a certain perk can be reused. And to be honest, I'm against this as well. It's a ranked playlist, not a tournament. This concept gets a bit into a rabbit hole of causing more issues than it actually solves, especially when it comes to pre-game lobbies, solo queue versus survive with friends, and things like that. Again, this will give better data to behavior to hopefully make more informed, balanced decisions. Okay, let's move on to how a ranked playlist would evaluate player skill.
Yeah, because that's important.
Matchmaking right now pretty much only looks at kills and escapes.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. You're right, because like the current MMR doesn't really measure skill either. So if you're going to introduce a ranked mode, you can't use the current like determinants of like what, you know, raises or lowers MMR, because those things aren't inherently skillful. So you would have to have new criteria of like what's skillful and what's not. So yeah, that's something.
And team aspects get thrown straight out the window. So obviously this will not be a measurement of true player skill. The old emblem system used to award pips based on individual player performance, and this is better than SBMM's lazy doomsday evaluation, but it's still flawed for
I hate the thing you two are doing right now.
That is, DBD is a team game if you play Survivor, so you need to be evaluated as a team. Both the emblem system and SBMM punish a survivor for getting tunneled out of a match. Even if the killer chases a survivor for 5 generators and all 3 of their teammates escape, that one survivor still loses when they die. That alone completely destroys any credible aspect that rank means anything. So behavior would have to develop a rank system that rewards survivors as a team. Killer, on the other hand, is a bit complicated as well.
Yeah, like what Kate just said, it's like they've had a hard time doing all the stuff they've done so far. They've already had like a really difficult time doing. So to introduce like a rank mode, and also have to have that rank mode also like accurately measure your accurately measure your skill, and also have to make essentially what is a brand new skill-based matchmaking system just for your ranked mode. Homie, that's not gonna happen. That is not going to happen. Holy shit.
Because you can win a match with 0 hooks and lose a match with 8 hooks. So killers do need to be adequately rewarded for playing well too. Failure to reward skill accurately on either side will destroy any ranked mode immediately. It would also be important to separate specific killer rank. A top ranked nurse is different than a top ranked Sadako.
Oh yeah.
The most rewarding thing to any killer player is going to be proving that they are the best with a certain killer. If there's a universal rank for the killer role, it will be much less interesting because it's going to be instantly assumed every top ranked killer just got there using a top tier killer. Another thing Behavior would need to seriously consider is how they would deal with the cheaters in a ranked mode specifically.
Yeah.
They would need some form of verification to play ranked. A less invasive system.
Verification to play ranked? What? You can't hover delete nurse. Yeah. I suggested a way to fix her, but everybody hated it, so I don't know. I thought entity blocking the windows would or windows and resources in general. I thought that would be good, but a lot of people were like, no, don't do that. I'm like, okay, just get rid of her then. I don't know. like just get rid of her then. I don't know. Whatever. Is that what Overwatch does? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Needing a phone number to play comp? Wow. That's interesting. I guess if you're gonna have something like that, like, you take it seriously. That's just weird. That's crazy. I've never played a game that's required me to do that. So that's, wow, that's interesting. You have to give your phone number to play rank. That's crazy. I've never been in a game that's done that. That's wild.
Could require that an account
either. Wow.
100 hours played.
They take that really seriously.
Within 30 days. That means that cheaters would need to make an account and play on it without getting banned for at least 100 hours over the span of a month. It wouldn't completely remove the problem, but it would significantly help. To really succeed with reducing cheating, specifically subtle cheating, they would need to invest in a match replay feature, which is something they have gone on record saying they will most likely never do, but they need to reevaluate that stance if a ranked mode is something they're serious about adding to the game. Alright, now with there being a ranked mode, what would that mean for the unranked mode, or casual mode, quick play mode, whatever you would want it to be called? Well, it still has to be somewhat competitive. Otherwise, it will just turn into PTB level trash, pointless gameplay. If you want a completely casual experience, you can always play in a private kill your friends lobby.
Yep.
Most players would agree that the base mode of DBD should still be competitive, just not to the level where it starts to suck the fun out of the game like SBMM. And
that's important too. Yeah, that's really important too, Hulk. You're right, because like it is kind of like you're being singled out. It really is. Like nobody should feel like they're too poor to play the game. That's messed up. That is kind of messed up. That's not okay. Like that's not right. Yeah, and it's a free to play game. That's crazy. Yeah, that's not good at all.
To achieve the right balance would be an expanded emblem system because it just encourages healthy gameplay more than anything else. That said,
that in general needs to happen. What he's talking about for like comp mode to like have like the emblem system reward healthier gameplay, that needs to happen in general. They need to rework the emblem system to reward, like Bran 2 said earlier, you can't get rid of a lot of the stuff that's in the game because it's baked in, but you can de-incentivize it. So that needs to happen either way. Either way, that needs to happen.
Outcome would unfortunately be that SBMM still rolled the unranked playlist. Also, just to be clear, the grade system would still be universal between both the ranked and unranked mode.
But Cade, like for example, like I'm not in an awful situation or anything. I'm gonna say that first. I made my PC in 2014. Something like that. It's pretty old. It's a pretty old computer, but like that was a long time ago, right? That's like, oh my god, that's like that's a long time ago. But like, like within the years that I have owned this PC, what if something bad happened, right? I don't lose the PC, right? Like the PC doesn't go anywhere. I don't lose my console, right? But like, what if bad stuff happens? Like, you know, I get laid off or something. Like, you know, in the time that that's happened, I still have my PC, right? So it's not even just like, oh, you have enough for, you clearly bought a PC at one point, so you will always be at that able to afford everything zone, you know? So, yeah.
Assuming these systems were now implemented, what would the pros and cons be of adding such an enormous addition to the game? The first thing that comes to my mind is the queue times.
Yeah.
Would they be noticeably impacted?
Yep.
It would be one thing to have 2 game modes, but a ranked mode divides players up much more strictly than the somewhat loose SBMM system that DBD uses now. So if you have multiple players sitting in matchmaking limbo in a ranked playlist waiting for a perfectly balanced match, it means less players are going to be in the unranked mode's matchmaking. Yet that doesn't necessarily mean the unranked mode would have slower matchmaking. It would just mean that the unranked mode would have less consistent matchmaking when it comes to player skill, which is okay. It kind of means the ranked playlist would be doing its job of chilling out the sweat levels in the unranked mode. Pretty much any game with a ranked playlist has slower matchmaking, especially at higher ranks where the player pools are much smaller.
Man, I remember that. I remember the more I played Street Fighter, I was grinding out the ranked mode in that. And I remember the more I played, the more I would just sit around for a long time. It was like I was getting like punished. It felt like I was getting punished for winning, because like my queue times would just get longer and longer and longer the more matches I won. And I was just like, I feel like I'm in the doghouse because I'm winning. I feel like I'm not getting rewarded for besides that fancy title up there. It's funny.
It's never really seemed to be that much of a deal breaker for players. I also mentioned before that a ranked playlist would give the devs better data for balancing, which is good, but also potentially bad because it means that general balance changes will spill over into the unranked DBD. Game system overhauls like the endgame Mori finisher, perk reworks, etc. can't be contained to only a ranked playlist, so there is the possibility of DBD losing more fun perks and mechanics as a result, but that seems to be destined to happen anyway unless they turn DBD into a heist game. Ideally, the slices of fun removed from the game will be outweighed by the more filtered and chill matchmaking, but it's hard to know for sure. It goes without saying that current DBD definitely has 2 groups of players occupying the same space: super competitive players and players more focused on having a chill experience.
I know, and it's awful. It's awful. It's why the matches are so varied, dude. Like we had so many fun matches all day today, and then we got that Sadako who one gen got done, and she decided it was tunnel one time. Like, she's a sweat lord. She little toilet hair lady. She was playing it like it was a comp game. Like, one gen's done, I gotta tunnel somebody out. I gotta make a 3v1 as quick as possible. Yeah, but like we had plenty of matches before that where they were just playing normally and it was fine because like those people probably care less. You know, it's like the matches are so varied because Choy's right. There are just essentially just like two kinds of people. Somebody really wants to sweat and win, and the other is just kind of like here to hang out and do all that stuff. But so yeah.
Both groups want to win. Both groups want to have fun, but they accomplish those goals in much different ways, so it does make some sense to split them into different game modes that are tailored to those playstyles. And as I said before, you can be competitive one day and chill the next, so it would be nice to filter your own experience to some degree. Of course, players will still go into the unranked mode with nuclear builds and obliterate, but there would be 2 important differences. 1, it would be kinda cringe, and 2, it would happen much less often than it does right now. One big negative aspect out of all of this would be the endless ocean of confusing ranks in DBD. Players would have their...
No, I disagree with this. Hold on. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm glad you've been well too. So this is Street Fighter V. This is the game that I came from, the game that I actually did play competitively for. I was never good. I won prize money like once, and that's because nobody showed up and I got 3rd place. Okay, I was never good. I'll make that clear. But I did like compete in this game. And this game does have a ranked mode. And it could be this simple. Rookie, bronze. So you have 3 ranks of every single one of the 3 ranks of whatever, your rank is. You just, you start off with rookie, which is, hey, you're in the game. You hard exist. And then you have 3 of each. So 3 bronze, 3 silver, 3 gold, 3 platinum, and then 3 diamond. And then there's 3 master. And then warlord is like the best of the best, like toppest tier in the world. So it doesn't have to be like that crazy. Like this is pretty simple and straightforward. There's brackets. Each bracket has 3 sections you could be in of different like severity or intensity, and it can just be that simple. And I don't think this would confuse DBD players. I really don't think it would. I don't think this would confuse DBD players. If anything, I feel like it would give them something to do. I feel like it'd be like a motivating factor, because I remember being in like normal platinum and wanting to go up to ultra platinum and like keep grinding this. I remember like when I first got into platinum, falling down to ultra gold and being mad and wanting to play the game more to grind that back out. So in a weird way, it could actually serve to actually be like really motivating for people instead of like confusing, like a lot of people are saying. So yeah, that's just my take though.
Devotion level, their grade, their individual character prestige levels,
it's fine,
and their actual rank in the ranked playlist. Again, this is more or less on behavior for playing around with so many different rank systems that prioritize time played over actual skill.
Yeah.
At some point, they might need to just bite the bullet and show the truth and stop making potatoes think they're the greatest of all time. All right.
Yeah, so that's one thing I've always appreciated about other games rank systems that I've always been in. They've never babied me. Other game rank systems that I've played through, they don't baby me. They don't make me feel like I'm doing a lot when I'm doing nothing. And it really, like, that sense of prestige that I would get from like actually hitting a rank that's actually worthwhile, like, feels good. It feels good, and it makes me feel like I'm actually progressing and doing good things. And he's right that DBD is one of those few games where, like, they really do just kind of want to make you feel like you're doing stuff, even if you're not necessarily doing stuff. And it's just, it's like, I don't care, like, I don't care about my grade. I don't care about my invisible MMR. I don't care about those things because, like, I can't visibly see it, at least with this skill-based matchmaking, and with the grade, it's only playtime. So, like, I literally don't care about it. And the only people that care about it are people who are too new to the game to really understand that it literally is just playtime, right? It literally is just playtime. So, I don't know. It's, yeah, I wish DBD, regardless of the ranked and unranked conversation, I wish DBD's matchmaking, like a skill-based matchmaking, like, number or the grades actually meant something. So I felt more attached to, like, my progression in the game, because currently I just don't have that.
Unranked mode could be implemented perfectly. It could be an okay system, which is kind of a scary equation. So what's the alternative? Well, the most obvious thing that comes to my mind is an entirely new game mode. DBD has had the same objective and largely the same exact gameplay loop for 6 years.
Yep.
Instead of pouring all of these resources into 2 modes that are basically the same thing, it might be way healthier to just invest into something completely new and fresh. 2v8 is the most common game mode asked for.
I will say this. If they make DBD 2, if they ever actually do that, they actually go that way and they decide, like, hey, we're cutting off support for DBD 1, we're going to make DBD 2. I want DBD 2 to come out with like 5 game modes, at least. I want DBD 2 to come out with the main game mode, and then, like, not even just adding more characters, like a 2v8. Like, I want, like, weird objectives, like capture the flag and weird stuff like that. I want, like, weird game modes that are, like, weird, like, just odd, or like defend the president or something like that. Like, just, like, fun weird stuff like that. I would love that. I would love that so much. I think in like the current state of the game, I don't think it would work. Just because, like, splitting an already relatively small player base would be scary. But I would love to just, like, have just, like, funny, weird game modes like that. Yeah, goofy stuff, exactly. I would love goofy stuff in the game. Goofy stuff like that would be great. I would love to just hang out. I remember, like, so many games used to do that back in the day. You remember, like, Pokemon Stadium? Like Pokemon Stadium had like all the like the main modes, but then they had like the party games off of the side. I would love stuff like that. I would love to just like mess around with my friends in this game and not necessarily be like Choy said in this video, kind of like layered together with the people that are trying, you know? So.
But unfortunately, DBD's code is basically a house of cards. They couldn't even get Nemesis to work with 3 zombies, so the idea of having such a grand game mode would probably be impossible.
Which is a good thing,
DBD 2 comes out.
He doesn't need 3.
There's also licensing issues. Behavior can run into legal issues having a game mode where Michael Myers is getting pulled apart by Pinhead's chains, for instance. But there's still a lot of different modes they could implement. They could even swap them out monthly like smaller scale arcade modes. Things like hide and seek mode, Among Us, musical lockers. The sky's really the limit creatively.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
In the grand scheme of things, this is the route that I believe would be much more intelligent in the long term over a ranked and unranked mode. In the end, this all pretty much boils down to less sweaty and new fresh gameplay being sought after by the DBD community. The big question is, what route do we take to get there? Let me know what you all think, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a good one.
And you can have it be where like the killer controls it too, like controls when the music stops and starts. Like you could have one player like in charge of like the song, and if you know somebody messes up, it starts like a chase with them, like the 1v1 that they're trying to create with the unbreakable like Instamori thing. Yeah, that'd be fun. Like you mess up, you have to chase. And you have a chance to get back, like earn your way back in by having a good chase. This actually sounds like a solid game mode, actually. This actually sounds fun. I would play that. Yeah, that was, yeah. I feel like we just ended up agreeing, which I appreciate, because the last time I watched one of his videos, we completely disagreed. That was the hag one. So, yeah. But yeah, I agree. I agree with a lot of what he said, that like it is, I think it's a big thing that a lot of people don't think about. Is like they don't like the main thing that stuck out to me was like he was like, we need to build a whole new matchmaking system. Like the skill-based matchmaking wouldn't work for that. So yeah, I did like that he brought that up. I thought it was a really good point. But yeah, so I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I wouldn't hate the idea of a rank system, but I do fear what it would do for the queue times. Yeah, so yeah, I mostly agree with that. That was pretty good. Good one. We also made me realize that skill-based matchmaking needs an overhaul for the yeah. They could just fix. Yeah, you're right. They don't even need to make a whole other skill-based matchmaking system, because that's what I said. You could just theoretically just fix the current skill-based matchmaking system to actually measure skill to some extent, and then that would also do the same thing. So telling behavior to fix the MMRs is like asking a fish to breathe air. Yeah, they're not going to do it. It was so bad for them to do it the first time. It was so hard for them to do it the first time that they're probably not adjusting it. But yeah, that was a good video. That was a very, I liked that one a lot. But if you don't know, we put these on YouTube, so if you want to say hi, we can wave. Hi, YouTube. These all go on YouTube, so if you missed it, you came out at the back end of the video. These all go up on YouTube usually like a day or two after. So yeah, just wave, and if you missed anything, you can catch up. So yeah. Wait, those are my peepo brand too. Don't yell at them. They won't come back.